The air around the Toronto Blue Jays right now feels different, heavier somehow, like the moment just before a summer storm breaks. You can sense it if you're paying attention. This isn't noise for noise's sake, and it isn't idle chatter filling the quiet days of February. This is positioning. This is intent. The Blue Jays are quietly lining pieces up on the board, and if you listen closely, you can almost hear the front office leaning in, lowering their voices, and saying, "Now." Because a new report has landed, and it points towards a move that could shift the balance of this roster in a way that feels subtle at first, but massive once you understand what it unlocks. Welcome back to the Blue Jays report, where we don't just read the headlines, we read between them. And today's story has layers. It involves a left-handed reliever who fits this team like a tailored suit, a fan favorite whose name suddenly appears in trade whispers, a rival move across the AL East that shouldn't be ignored, and a moment of reflection as a beloved voice of Blue Jays baseball steps away. There's a lot happening, and every thread connects. So settle in, because this is one of those conversations you'll want to hear all the way through. Before we go any further, take a second to support the channel. If you enjoy deep dives like this, hit the like button, share the video with another Jays fan, and subscribe to the Blue Jays report so you don't miss what comes next. These moments move fast, and this off-season is starting to hum. Let's start with the name that has suddenly resurfaced and refuses to go away. Jojo Romero. A left-handed reliever, electric in his own understated way, and according to multiple reports, highly likely to be moved by the St. Louis Cardinals before opening day. Not at the deadline. Not later. Now. The Cardinals, a franchise that once clung to stability like a badge of honor, are openly reshaping themselves, and Romero is one of the pieces they're willing to part with. Alongside him, names like Lars Nootbaar have also been floated, confirming what many suspected. This is not a retool. This is a reset. The context here matters. The Cardinals have already begun selling off familiar faces. Brendan Donovan is gone. Alec Burleson has been made available. The language coming out of St. Louis is no longer cautious or coded. It's direct. They are rebuilding. And when a team reaches that stage, relievers, especially effective ones nearing the end of their deals, become currency. That's where Toronto enters the picture. The Blue Jays have been circling left-handed bullpen help for weeks now. We've heard the names. We've seen the connections. Framber Valdez was explored. Tyler Rogers was added. But this front office is not done, and Romero represents something the Jays simply don't have in abundance. A reliable, late-inning lefty you can pencil in without holding your breath. Romero is 29 years old, armed with a deep 5-pitch mix, and while he won't light up the radar gun, he makes hitters uncomfortable in ways that don't show up in velocity readings. He's deceptive. He lives low in the zone. He coaxes ground balls. And last season, he was outstanding. A 2.07 ERA. Calm under pressure. The kind of pitcher managers trust when the game feels like it's teetering. Now here's where this story really tightens. A new rumor has emerged proposing a trade framework that sent a ripple through Jays Nation. Jojo Romero to Toronto. Davis Schneider to St. Louis. That's the idea being floated, and it's one that immediately splits opinion, because Davis Schneider isn't just a roster piece. He's a fan favorite. His personality. His energy. He's the embodiment of opportunity seized when no one was looking. But baseball doesn't pause for sentiment, and neither do front offices when they smell alignment. Cardinals president of baseball operations Chaim Bloom has been clear about one thing. He wants a right-hand outfield bat. The Cardinals lack options there, and the free agent market hasn't been kind. Schneider, for all his quirks and inconsistencies, offers something they value. Major league experience. A defined floor. And control. Schneider posted a .797 OPS and proved he can contribute at the highest level. But here's the hard truth for Toronto. The Blue Jays have an outfield surplus. Playing time is going to be scarce. Opportunities will be limited. And while Schneider could see time at second base, that picture is far from settled, especially with Ernie Clement firmly in the mix. At some point, depth becomes leverage, and leverage becomes opportunity. Would it be a straight swap? Probably not. Romero is a rental, entering the final year of his contract, and that matters. Relievers are volatile by nature, and teams know it. You're not moving top prospects for bullpen arms who might walk in October. But a deal built around Schneider, perhaps with a lower-tier prospect added, feels realistic. Balanced. Purposeful. And here's where I stand on it. I'd do it. Without hesitation. This is the exact type of move championship teams make. You deal from depth to address clarity. You sacrifice a popular piece to stabilize a weakness. Because when October arrives, you don't want maybes in your bullpen. You want names you trust. Right now, the Blue Jays relief corps has strength, but also uncertainty. Jordan Romano anchors the back end, but beyond that, roles blur. Chad Green, Yimi Garcia, Tyler Rogers, Adam Simba. There's quality, but there are also question marks. What do you get from Yoriel Rodriguez? Can Brendan Little repeat his flashes of brilliance? Does Mason Fluharty carry it forward? Is Eric Lauer a bullpen option or a starter? Too many variables. What the Jays lack is a true left-handed presence they can rely on in leverage. Romero fills that gap instantly. He may not rack up strikeouts at an elite rate, but he gets outs, and he does it without drama. That matters. Zooming out for a moment, this potential trade also reflects a broader philosophy shift. The Blue Jays are no longer hoarding. They are refining. This roster is close. Painfully close. And the margins now live in places like the 7th and 8th innings, where games are won or lost quietly. Now let's pivot briefly, because not all news this week came in the form of trade rumors. One chapter of Blue Jays history has officially closed. Buck Martinez has retired. A voice synonymous with this franchise, a presence that felt permanent, has stepped away. It's a moment that deserves respect, gratitude, and reflection. Naturally, the question becomes, who's next? Rumblings suggest Joe Siddall could be the man to step into that role full-time alongside Dan Shulman. And honestly, it makes sense. Siddall has grown tremendously as an analyst. He's polished, insightful, comfortable. Others like Caleb Joseph have impressed as well, but Siddall feels like the natural successor, the next steady hand guiding fans through 9 innings. Let me know what you think. Who do you want to hear in that booth next season? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one decision where the fans' voices matter. Elsewhere around the league, the carousel keeps spinning. Isaac Paredes is drawing interest from multiple teams, including the Red Sox and Pirates. The Yankees have added Paul Goldschmidt on a short-term deal, a move that barely registers on the Jays' threat radar. Spring training is approaching. Hazel May is already reporting from Florida. Pitchers and catchers will be here before we know it. And that's the thing. Time is tightening. Moves that are going to happen soon. The Blue Jays know this. They're not waiting for perfect conditions. They're acting in the margins, lining up dominoes, preparing to push. That's why Jojo Romero matters. Not because he's flashy. Not because he trends on social media. But because he solves a problem quietly, efficiently, and right now. If you've enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, share it with another Jays fan, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report. This off-season is far from over, and the next move could land at any moment. The storm is coming. The pieces are shifting. And the Toronto Blue Jays are no longer standing still.